Happy Monday, Bears fans, or maybe Disappointment Monday is more like it. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Coming off that disappointment in Cleveland yesterday, 20-17 loss. Just tough, man. Just tough. Still frustrated if I'm being honest, but you do have to turn the page eventually, and that's what we're going to try to do here today on this live show. So appreciate all 177 people already watching with us. Thank you to the live chat, getting that popping early and often here. So let's keep that going. Let's get the vibes up and have a day here on a Monday. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from, and we'll get some shout-outs going. William says, Rolly Harry. What's up, William? What's up, William? I love the juice. We got NRG Bro in El Paso, fishing in Vegas. We got Relentless Mikey in Naperville, Scuba in Decatur. Let's go, Halifax, Nova Scotia. What's up, Justin? We got Brandon in Des Moines, Iowa, Tanya in Molina, Illinois. Sam Loctara, hashtag Team Rolly. You know that's going to be his first message in the chat every week. Jaron Thomas in Noblesville. We got Jeff in San Antonio, user in Arkansas, Adam in Roanoke. We got Zach Martin in Costa Rica. We've got Xavier in Milwaukee, G. Willie in Reno, Dixon, Illinois from Josh. We got a real shike in Chicago, Cuba City, Wisconsin from DC Viper. Appreciate everybody for tuning in here. What would you do with Matt Eberflus? Where are you guys at? This is the week-to-week question here. Type F for fire or K for keep. What would you do? What would you do? Would you fire? Would you keep him? NFL Production says keep. Relentless says fire. Jay Villa, Adam, G. Willie, and Daisy all saying fire. So is Bear Down 34. Barry Hall says fire. Wendy, William, Fly Fat, Flash, Bear Down all saying fire.
I'm seeing a lot
of
of fires.
The weekly pendulum, Rolly, has been an
Yeah, I mean,
experience.
last week, I'm old enough to remember when
it was over 50% keep.
And we were all looking towards the playoffs. Now look at us.
3 colossal meltdowns. Otherwise, not only would they be in the playoffs, they'd be like easily in. That's the sad part. Oh, man. Carlos says fire. Jeffrey says fire, 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 fire. Need all new coaching staff. That's what's so interesting about this thing is, like, you really are about 5 plays away from being a playoff team. So I agree. I would fire him, and I would look to upgrade my coaching staff to a staff that doesn't even really need to, like, just change everything that you're doing, but just, like, get more out of what you're doing. Like, bring in that mentality of we are not going to blow these games late. Like, because clearly this staff has been unable to do that consistently. It's been a problem. So, yeah, I agree. I would fire him. I would try to upgrade here, and that would be my approach. So we'll see. Harbaugh all the way. I mean, that's a great example. Like, if you can run back channels and find out that you can get Jim Harbaugh, like, you'd be stupid to not do that. Like,
See
even
what
if
Jordan Schultz said today?
So that was actually from last week, but he posted
okay.
it today. Jordan Schultz hopped on Cowherd, and he basically said that he does not think Harbaugh to Chicago will happen because of the Kevin Warren thing, because there was some friction there in the Big Ten. I guess that could be the case, but I'll put it this way. If Kevin Warren wants Jim Harbaugh and offers him enough money to do it, and Harbaugh wants to return to the NFL, I think he would be interested. So we'll see what happens there. Schultz didn't flat out say it's not going to happen, but he believes that it's unlikely to happen. Also, which, by the way, we reported this a few weeks ago, Harbaugh's preference is to stay at Michigan. He just wants to get taken care of financially. So if they do that, he'll probably stay there. But there is some interest in his camp of him returning to the Bears. The Kevin Warren thing's a wild card, so that would definitely be a hurdle that
I have
both sides
something
would
to
have
add
to overcome.
before we get to Prize Picks, Harrison.
Okay.
Did you see Clay Harbor's tweet from 54 minutes ago?
I did not see Clay Harbor's tweet
All
from
right.
54 minutes
Well,
ago, but I am aware of who he is.
Yes. So he tweeted out the win probability of the Bears at its peak against the Broncos in that blown game you're talking about.
I've seen this. Someone
Bears
else tweeted this.
versus the Lions about a month ago.
About
and then
99%.
this past week against the Browns. the percent chance to lose all 3 games against the Broncos in Detroit in this past Sunday. 0.003%. How is that possible?
Again, dude, if you only blow one of those, like I'm not even saying win all 3, you could still blow one. You're 7-7. You control your destiny to the playoffs. But you blew all 3. Now you're 5-9, and now you have virtually no chance of making it. That's why you should want to upgrade your coaching staff. Now you could say on the flip side, well, they're trending in the right direction. They're closer. Well, how low is the bar? Like, do you want, like, call me crazy, you've underachieved this year. Like, I don't think anyone came up here and said this is going to be an 11-win team, but you blew 3 games, you'd be 8-6 right now. That's an underachievement to me. Okay, today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, and they've had some daily Christmas specials going on. And the one today for Monday Night Football is when you make your entry, 2 to 6 players on any given entry, make one of those player entries Jake Elliott or Jason Myers. You can play right now. You can get $5 for every field goal made by said kicker, depending on which one you pick, obviously. You can check out the full details once you're in the app as well. Download the app today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. You can play the NFL, college football, NBA. You can cross over picks as well. 2 to 6 players on any given entry and just project if they will go for more or less than their stat projections. And if you hit on all your picks, you can make some money, up to 25 times your money on any given entry with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS to get started with Prize Picks right now. Link is in the live chat. Killin DeVillin with the $5 super chat. If you guys super chats, a guarantee to get on the show. He says, I want to keep Fields, but if we get a new head coach and offensive coordinator, it will be his 3rd in 4 years. I think at this point, draft a new quarterback, get another wide receiver to help him. And we're going to get to the poll question in a minute. That's kind of the thought process that I'm running through, so stay tuned. Rick Bernico, Flus to DC only, new head coach, new OC, keep Justin Fields. We've been over this, guys. Like, yes, in a perfect world, could Matt Eberflus just be the defensive coordinator? I would like that because he can call defense. That we've seen it. Like, this defense has improved greatly, and he deserves credit for that. But the question, that's never happened. That would be unprecedented. So if he thinks that little of himself and would accept that demotion, hey, I'm in. But I just don't think that's going to be a very likely outcome. Sam Laktara, what's up, Sam? Fun fact, I went to school with Clay Harbor's little brother. Nice. If we keep Fields and bring in Harbaugh and an OC of Harbaugh's choice, I could officially not give a damn what you do with the first-round picks. That's kind of where I'm at, Sam. Like, if the new head coach, especially if it's Harbaugh, pushes to keep Fields, sweet. Like, I would let Jim Harbaugh have heavy say in the quarterback decision. I think Ryan Poles deserves, obviously, a lot of say in that matter. He's done a good job retooling this roster and resetting the salary cap for the Bears, but if you bring in a coach, especially an offensive coach, that really wants to keep Justin Fields, I think that should carry a lot of weight as well. Fernie with the 2. Wouldn't mind a Daniels, Moore, and MHJ combo, to be honest. So Jaden Daniels, is that what he's saying there? So draft Marvin number 1, get Jaden Daniels number 5 or 6, something like that, to go with DJ Moore. It's an interesting idea. Geezer, refreshing little heartbreak, almost epic win. I'll say this. If the Bears win their final 3 games and miss the playoffs by 1 game, the Darnell Mooney dropped Hail Mary, it's not going to be quite the same level, but it's going to be up there with the double doink of, like, what if? Because that drop could lead to a QB change. It could lead to a head coach change. Now, not that play alone obviously leads to that, but it is a symbolic play, is it not? Like, the double doink is always going to be a what if, because that team was so confident that year with that defense and the offense being just good enough that season that they felt like they could go all the way. A lot of things may have changed with that result yesterday. Okay, pick one situation. What would you rather do? An all-or-nothing situation. Would you rather keep Justin Fields and Luke Getsy, type 1, or would you rather fire Getsy and trade Justin Fields? Because, look, again, based on the super chat we just got, there's certainly a scenario where you fire Getsy and keep Fields, but I do think that's an unlikely one. Like, I think if you're keeping Fields, you're probably keeping this staff in place. That's the feeling I get. So if you're going to dump Getsy, there's a real scenario where you're dumping Fields too, and you're letting the new OC or head coach, if it's an offensive guy, groom the new quarterback and pick a new quarterback. So what scenario would you rather have? As much as I love Justin Fields, I want Luke Getsy the fuck out of Chicago. So I would type 2. I want Getsy gone more than I want Fields here, is basically what I'm saying. So that is what direction I would go in. I'll get some shout-outs going here. Fernie says 2. DJ says 2. Anthony says 1. Dime Shot says 1. Laktara says 1.5. He wants to keep Fields and fire Getsy. I get it. I get that's going to be a lot of people's thinking, but in this, if I'm only giving you these options, I'm just curious which side you'd be on. William says 2. Little Sarah says 2. Go vote on the live poll as well. 240 votes. 61% say trade Fields and fire Getsy. 39% say keep Fields and keep Getsy. Yeah, I can't deal.
I'm in vote number 2.
It's same. You can't keep Getsy, bro. Like he's got to go. He has got to go. So Carlos in the chat, Getsy has to go. Agreed. So if this is the scenario, like, hey, we're moving on from Getsy, we're resetting at quarterback, that's the choice I'm choosing because I imagine giving Luke Getsy the keys to develop a rookie quarterback.
Oh,
that scares the hell out of me. It really does.
Boy.
And I'm not saying Getsy is a bad guy or that he doesn't know anything about playing quarterback or offensive football in this league. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've seen enough where I lack major trust there. Like, that concerns me heavily, the idea of keeping Getsy to develop a young quarterback. He hasn't been able to do it nearly efficiently enough with Justin Fields. Like, so I can't let that happen if I'm running the Bears. So I'm typing my 2 in that scenario. All right, we'll get this thing rolling here in a minute, and we need some more likes. You got to get to 125 likes. Hit that like button. We got 350 people watching.
Don't make me come after
72 likes. Rolly's taking it easy on y'all this morning because he knows it's a tough day afternoon.
Don't make me do it.
Don't make the CEO,
the like monster.
Horizon, the like monster.
I will do it.
125 likes. Let's go. If we trade Fields, DJ Moore would probably go with him. We're going to get into DJ Moore backing his quarterback, and I appreciate that, and I do think it carries weight, but let's be clear.
We'll quickly flash
that would
this
not
subject,
happen.
by the way, because it's basically asking the same thing, and don't you worry, we'll get there.
Did you see DJ's comments after the game yesterday? If they draft the QB, do you think that could mess with chemistry, possibly trading him with Fields? There's no chance DJ Moore is not on this team next year. Now, he might be frustrated if they trade Justin Fields, and I wouldn't blame him. He's having a career year.
He'll get over it with Caleb Williams very quickly.
Well, I also just think he's a professional, and while he might be frustrated in the short term, like the beautiful thing about DJ Moore is for how talented he is, he has no ego. How many receivers with that level of talent lack ego? Not many.
I tell you what, that's what 5 or 6 years in Carolina will do.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why he's backed Fields so much, because even though Fields is flawed, he's having his best season of his career with Justin. So he's like, I want to keep playing with this guy because I know what bad QB play is like. Alex says, has Getsy been fired yet? Unfortunately not, Alex. I was disappointed when I woke up, but I think we all knew that they're not going to fire a coach with 3 weeks left. So, by the way, just for anyone curious, Matt Eberflus was asked on ESPN 1000 if he's considered letting anybody else call plays offensively, and he said no, and that Getsy will remain in that role. So, if anyone was hoping for Andrew Janocko SZ in for the final 3 weeks, that is not going to happen. 3 likes away from 125. Be sure to like this video. Coming up on Chicago Bears Now, we cover the latest Bears news and rumors. An interesting quote from Matt Eberflus to open up his press conference today. I could have sworn I was watching CNN or some other political channel because I thought a politician was talking. Stay tuned for that. We'll take your questions, hashtag Bears or Super Chat. If you Super Chat, it's a guarantee to get on the show. We'll get to as many hashtag Bears questions as well. And then, yes, 8, count 'em 8, our 8th Chicago Bears mock draft since the start of the season, which is just mind-boggling. Here we go. Busy show coming up on Chicago Bears Now. DJ Moore and other Chicago Bears players have come to the defense of Justin Fields since the Bears' fourth quarter collapse in Cleveland. We're going to dive into this here on today's episode of Bears Now by Chat Sports. My name is Harrison Graham, and DJ Moore has kind of led the charge here because for whatever reason, not whatever reason, he's been asked multiple times in the last 24 hours, what do you think is going to happen at quarterback? Are they going to keep Justin? Should they draft a quarterback? Which, by the way, does not put DJ in a good situation. It's pretty unfair, for being completely honest. But here's what he said last night via the Marquee Sports Network. He said, y'all asked me that last week? I'm still like, bro, where are y'all seeing this? What makes him not a good quarterback for the Chicago Bears right now? I get everyone is coming out, and there's two of them, talking about Caleb Williams and Drake Maye. I don't think they're better than Justin. Then again this morning on 670 The Score, I don't really see how they can say he isn't the quarterback for the Chicago Bears right now. He's been doing everything that's asked of him. The growth has been phenomenal. At the end of the day, I'm standing by what I said. So they basically asked him, hey, you said this last night. Do you stand by that? And he said, yes, I do. I see him every day, and this is what I see. Look, there's two sides to look at this, in my opinion. Number one, what else do you expect DJ Moore to say when asked about his quarterback? Everything we know about DJ Moore is that he's a team guy, he's a classy guy. He's not going to go up there and be like, yeah, man, Justin sucks. Let's go draft a quarterback. So I think there's some legitimacy to that. I will say, though, if you listen to the tone and just the body language of when he answers this question, I think there's a lot of truth to bullet point number 2 here. He believes in Justin and thinks that they're building something together. We've seen it. And guess what? DJ Moore has played with a lot of bad quarterbacks in this league. Say what you want about Justin Fields, he's having the best year of his career with Justin. He knows what playing with bad quarterbacks is like in Carolina. So, yeah, there's better quarterbacks out there. And, yes, they may draft Caleb Williams or Drake Maye, and one of those guys could be an upgrade over Justin Fields. But I understand if DJ Moore is like, whoa, I finally have someone I have good chemistry with. I don't want to try something new yet again. So, yes, I think there's truth to both sides of this discussion here. Darnell Mooney coming to Justin Fields' defense as well. And by the way, that's a receiver that has not had good chemistry with Justin on the field this season. He said Justin Fields is the quarterback of the future. He's the franchise quarterback. He's been balling. I don't understand why it's any more questions. Now, again, has he been balling? I wouldn't put Justin Fields in the balling category. I'd say he's been playing pretty well. We went over it earlier. I don't think his stat line yesterday showed nearly the full picture of how he played. Again, I didn't think he was great yesterday, but if Robert Tonyan catches a ball and if the 2 interceptions on Hail Marys that shouldn't count don't actually count, it actually looks a whole lot better. But that's life in the NFL, playing quarterback. Sometimes things don't go your way from a statistical standpoint. Here's the reality. Ryan Poles, he has to do what he thinks is best for the Bears. That's the job. If that means pissing off a locker room for the short term, then yeah, if he's that sold on Caleb Williams or Drake Maye, that's just something you have to do as a GM. Players aren't going to like it. I'll tell you that right now. Players in that locker room love Justin Fields. That's a fact. They do. Now, they're also paid professional athletes. I don't think trading Fields is just going to completely bury the team and have players quit on the team. But I will say this. You make that move and you're wrong about it, it's probably a move that gets you fired a couple years down the line. So he better be right. If he moves on from Justin Fields for a different quarterback, he better be right about it because he's very popular in that locker room. He's very popular among a good chunk of the fan base. And by the way, he's very popular among other players, teams, and coaches in this league. I think players and coaches in this league view Justin Fields in a higher regard than media members do. I really do believe that. You hear players come out all the time talking about how they feel about Justin Fields. So, listen, it's just one of those deals that Ryan Poles has to man up and understand what his job is, which I think he does. He has a pretty cool, calm demeanor, and then make a decision what he thinks is best for the future of the franchise. Now, what would you do? Put yourself in Ryan Poles' shoes. All these factors come into play. You get the number 1 or number 2 pick at worst. What are you doing with Justin Fields? You trading him or are you keeping him? Type T for trade, K for keep. Get your votes in the comments section below. Matt Eberflus went on the defense this morning. he does run this team's defense. So, little pun on words here. He wasn't asked anything that forced him to play defense, but his opening statement, I felt like I was at a presidential town hall or something and listening to a politician trying to convince me of something. This is a snippet of it here, and there was certainly more to it, so feel free to go listen to yourself. I posted a clip of it. The Bears obviously tweeted out his full press conference. But I found this fascinating. He said, since week 11, we have 12 interceptions and 14 takeaways, so that's a big positive. Both leading the NFL in that stretch. A 4-game stretch with 2+ interceptions. That's been the first time since 2018. That's been really good. 14 points off turnovers yesterday, which is really good. This is just kind of exhausting to me because, like, first of all, you're unprompted and, like, it felt so forced. Like, hey, I just want everybody out there to understand how good we've actually been playing in certain areas, especially defense, which, again, we've been over this. Yes, the defense has been a lot better. Flus can run a defense. That's not the full part of the equation here. But it's just like, who are you trying to sell? Like, who are you trying to convince with that chunk? No one even asked you a question. Like, again, it does not take someone with an unbelievably high IQ, a genius, to understand the defense as much as improved. You don't even need those stats. Just watch the games. The defense is a lot better. It has gotten better, which, to Flus's credit, he gave Montez Sweat credit for that as well later on in his opening statement. But you're the head coach. That is the question. Is he good enough or not to be this team's head coach? You guys ask me all the time, do you think he would just stay as the DC? I've told you why I don't think there's any chance that would happen. Sure, in a perfect world, that'd be cool, but I don't think he has that little self-worth to listen to Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles be like, hey, man, we don't think you're good enough to be our head coach, but we want to keep you as a DC. That would literally shock the entire football community if he accepted that demotion. But, again, as a head coach, I don't think he's good enough as a head coach. I just don't. And coming up, we'll continue this discussion, and NFL Insider, one of the top ones, discuss Flus and his status based on what he's been hearing, so stay tuned for that. But, man, it's just, I don't know. It just, that felt so forced from Matt Eberflus. Like, it felt like he was trying to sell us with that statement about what he's been bringing to the table. Now, speaking of money, you can make some with Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get a $100 deposit match when you sign up this holiday season, which I encourage you guys to do so when you make your player entries, every 2 to 6 players on those player entries. Tonight, Monday Night Football special, you can get $5 for every made field goal, depending on if you pick Jake Elliott or Jason Myers, whichever kicker for Philly and Seattle you want to take. So you can kind of get some extra ched with that. Check out full details on Prize Picks today. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS. Daily holiday specials leading up to Christmas as well, so it's the perfect time to hop on board. You can play other sports too, NBA, college football, college basketball, NHL, some esports. It's all available. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS today. Is Matt Eberflus going to return in 2024? He's selling us like a politician, as he would. 2024, big election year, by the way. Adam Schefter gave a status update on Matt Eberflus on the Pat McAfee Show earlier today. Here's what he had to say. My understanding going into the weekend with Eberflus is they had 1-2 in a row, which, by the way, that's not your understanding. That's just a fact. They had put together some strong performances. They played very well yesterday. They had a real chance to win that game in Cleveland. I think he's won some support here, and I think that he's fighting to keep his job, and he has a chance to save his job in Chicago. So it's a little loose. It's not hardcore reporting. Like he said, based on what he's been told, that there's some support there. Like he's not saying anything definitive. Basically, I take that report that the Bears have not made a decision here. They're still evaluating Matt Eberflus. Here's what I know. Number one, the Bears under Flus continue to set records that you don't want to set. They have tied an NFL record in a single season for the most fourth quarter 10 or more point leads blown in a single season. And by the way, there's three weeks to go. They've done it 3 times this year. We talked about this earlier today. We'll bring it up again. Fourth quarter collapses, up 28-7 late in the third quarter. Denver did score to cut it to 14, but still it was 10-plus to start the fourth. It was 28-14 in the fourth quarter. But I wanted to just outline how big of a collapse that one was. Week 11, up 26-14 with 4:15 left. Can't close. Week 15, which was yesterday, up 10 with 12:30 left. And, yeah, it's a lot more time. Okay, whatever. But bad weather, 38-year-old Joe Flacco on the other side. Defense has been cooking. You can't find a way. You can't close that game out. Like, the bar just feels so low to me. Like, we talked about this earlier. Like, yes, the Bears are improved. Yes, Flus can coach defense. It's got to be about more than that. Like, are we so terrified as a fan base that if they fire Flus, the defense is going to fall apart next year? They've got the pieces. Like, you've got Montez Sweat now. You can add another key defensive lineman. You've got a lot of cap space. The linebacker room might be the best in the NFL, if not top 3. The secondary is sick, man. Tyreek Stevenson's growing up every week. Jalen Johnson's going to be here, whether it's on a contract or a franchise tag. Got to make a decision on Eddie Jackson, but if you cut him, you free up even more cap space. You could sign another safety. Like, the defense is not going to collapse without Matt Eberflus if you want to upgrade head coach. Like, let's not freak out about that. Like, you can find a better head coach and still have this defense be damn good next year. Like, guys, we've got to elevate the standards here in Chicago. Please grade Matt Eberflus as a head coach. A, B, C, D, or F. I mean, C-, D+, things I'll give him credit for. This team keeps fighting for him. The locker room has stayed together despite 2 coaches having to leave suspiciously, despite all the losses they've endured. So, like, yes, he's been able to accomplish certain things. The guy's 8-22. They've blown fourth quarter lead after fourth quarter lead. Like, defensive coordinator, I'd probably give him an A, A-. Head coach, borderline passing grade. And again, I think you can do a lot better, for being completely honest. All right, subscribe to the channel. We are 54 subs away from 82,000. Go check out our video from earlier today. I explored the hot seat status of Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, and Justin Fields. You can go back at our post-game show yesterday if you really want to revisit that. We have weekly live watch parties as well. We'll be live again this week against the Arizona Cardinals. Daily videos, live shows every Monday, Thursday, and game day. Multiple videos on non-live days. Hit that sub button. Join the movement. We're building here at Bears Now, trying to get to 82,000. Then, of course, the big goal is 100,000 subscribers. Appreciate the support. If you haven't joined us yet, please do. It's 100% free. On a positive note, Montez Sweat's a star. Montez Sweat is an absolute star. The trade, you never want to declare a trade won or lost this early, but I'm going to do it. The Bears have won this trade. You got this guy for a second-round pick, and yeah, Washington keeps losing, so that pick's fairly high in the second round. Who cares, though, man? This is not a Claypool situation. We want to talk about the defense being a lot better. Sure, Flus deserves credit. Montez Sweat deserves a lot of credit. What did Ryan Poles call him when they made that move? A multiplier. Not only has he been dominant, 6 sacks, 31 pressures, 13 quarterback hits, 2.5 sacks yesterday, players around him have gotten a lot better. Sweat's impact has been a dominant one. There's just no way to say it hasn't been. He's been unreal. That first game when he had only practiced like once, it was we didn't see like a huge impact. But since then, the last 5 weeks, he's been one of the best players in the NFL. I mean, he really has. He's getting after the quarterback. He's even better as a pass rusher since he left Washington. Like, it really makes you wonder what was going on there. He's always been a great run defender. He's been kind of an up and down pass rusher. He's been dominant here. What a great trade that's been. And you get him under contract. Like, imagine if you waited. That price tag would be going up even higher. I mean, they signed him, and he's played better than he ever has. So kudos to Ryan Poles and his staff for making that move. That was certainly a good one, and he should be a key piece for years to come. Show Montez Sweat some love. Get the 98s going in the chat. He's been repping 98 since he came over, and he's been balling out at a high level. So type 98 if you're fired up about Montez Sweat. All right, guys, appreciate everybody for making it to the end of this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all that stuff. Appreciate all your love and support. If you're watching live, stay tuned. More to come. Hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. We'll get some 98 shout-outs. We got Jaron Thomas, Zoe, Ty-Man, Harley, Ron, Sandy, Justin, Anthony, Confetti, Ron, Jacob, Kaiwan, we got William, Jeff, Zoe again, Nexus, Chris N, Sports Guru. Montez Sweat's been a baller, man. Guy's been a baller. If you want to get your questions in, like Sports Guru just did in the chat, Super Chat or get your hashtag Bears questions in. If you ask a question without the hashtag Bears, our software will not pick it up. So use hashtag Bears, or you can use the super chat function.
We'll show this super chat. I was going to save for the mailbag, but it seems like we're having a problem pulling. So I'm going to try to do some producer stuff. But just in case we lose this super chat, I want to make sure we get it on screen.
Coda says, appreciate the 2. He says, get Adunze and MHJ, pay Jalen Johnson, sign Higgins, let go of Mooney. So you're going with a wide receiver room of DJ Moore, T. Higgins, Marvin Harrison, and Rome Odunze. That's too many cooks in the kitchen, Coda. I don't think you need 4 dudes of that status. Now, definitely want to add one, whether it's in free agency or in the draft, and probably get like a number 3 type. I've been open to the idea of re-signing Mooney to be your number 3, but I think I've gotten to the point where, like, it might just be best for both sides for him to start over somewhere else. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but it's just off with Mooney, man. It's a shame. It's a shame, but the fall has been it's been disappointing. He was a much better player under Nagy than he has been under the Sketsy offense for whatever reason. So, I think Darnell Mooney is probably going to be playing in a different uniform next year, if I had to guess. Where are we at? We figuring things out, or?
Yeah, we're trying.
Our hashtag Bears questions pulling?
Yes. We lost.
We lose a super chat.
We lost 3. We lost Jacob, $5 super chat.
I got Jacob here. He says, who are your favorite possible suitors for offensive coordinator next year? I think Ken Dorsey's an interesting one. If you're firing Flus, then Ben Johnson's a strong one. Greg Roman's an interesting one in a keep Justin Fields scenario. You could go Frank Smith from Miami since he doesn't call plays there. If Eric Bieniemy doesn't get a head coaching job, you could bring him in to call plays. So those are a few names. Scuba, did we lose his? Is that
we lost Scuba as well.
What about a scenario where the Bears get a new head coach OC, draft MHJ in a left tackle, sign an edge, give Justin 1 more year. If he bombs, get a new QB in 25. Could certainly go that route. The risk, of course, is that, I mean, you've had the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. What are the chances you pick that high again? So you'd have to trade up and give up assets potentially in 25. And then NRG.
That's the last one.
Sorry about that, guys. Tech issues, but did want to make sure we're reading all this. NRG says, Justin didn't play bad. What was highlighted was our dire need for skill players. I kind of agree with that. I don't think he played great, but he didn't play as bad as his stat line shows. Dog shit coaching. We saw what our offense looks like when DJ's not 100%. Justin didn't hurt his chance to say. I agree. I don't think he necessarily hurt his chances, but he didn't help it either. Winning that game would have been huge, man. It just would have. Fair or not to him, because I thought yesterday a lot of the game, it reminded me of last year where Justin's having to try and do it all himself because the O-line had probably its worst game of the year against a good defensive line. DJ wasn't 100%, so you didn't have that reliability throughout the game. It was there some, but not consistent enough. And guys, when plays were there to be made, just didn't make them. Robert Tonyan's dropping passes. Tyler Scott's dropping passes. At times, Justin tried to do too much. It felt a lot like last year, where we're outmanned. Justin's got to try and save the day, and you got to lean on the defense. And it wasn't good enough. It wasn't enough. So it's unfortunate. It's definitely unfortunate, but it is mailbag time. The other super chats that have come through, we will get those in. Hashtag Bears or super chat. Appreciate all your questions. Let's dive in here on today's show. Today's Bears mailbag is sponsored by Rex MD. This holiday season, looking to spice it up in the bedroom, but need a little bit of a boost? That's where Rex MD comes into play. RexMD.com/chat. Awesome discounts for branded and generic Cialis and Viagra today. Go check them out. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on in the show. Okay, let's kick this mailbag off with F. Marsh. If Jim Harbaugh isn't available, are there any other clear upgrades at head coach over Matt Eberflus? Look, it's always a bit of a crapshoot, right, on the coaching market, but I still really like Ben Johnson, just to throw one name out there. I know they kind of hit a bit of a skid, but nice bounce back against Denver, putting up 42 points against a defense that's been playing pretty well recently. Jared Goff bounced back. So Ben Johnson, and I do think if you're going to replace Flus, going offense makes a ton of sense, whether you keep Justin or draft a quarterback, because you want to build something for years to come, head coach quarterback combo, right? And I'd rather do that with an offensive guy. You look at a lot of the top teams, it's offensive guy, top quarterback, like Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts with Nick Sirianni. Like, you see it all over the NFL. So if I am going to change, I definitely do want to get an offensive-minded head coach. Jim Harbaugh's an offensive guy, obviously, but in this scenario, you asked for other guys, and Ben Johnson's a guy I'd be very interested in. Fill in the blank here. The Bears' 2024 head coach will be blank. Who's it going to be? Is it still going to be Matt Eberflus? Is it going to be Jim Harbaugh? Is it going to be Ben Johnson, Eric Bieniemy, somebody else? Let us know. Fill in that blank. Marco Lifts, ready for Drake Maye or Williams, Justin Fields bust. I will say this regardless of how this plays out. Justin Fields hasn't been a bust. Like Zach Wilson, bust. Trey Lance, bust. Justin's going to go start somewhere next year. You can take that to the bank, whether it's for the Bears or somewhere else. Like, has he played up to the standard of what you're hoping a first-round quarterback would be? Probably not, but he's also dealt with a lot of shit in Chicago too. So I would not put him in the bust category, regardless of how this plays out. Los the Legend, Poles is going to think like a GM. No way he's passing up on 6 first-round picks in 3 years and can plug every major weakness on your team, and QB is not one of them. Well, that's the question. How does he evaluate the QB situation? Does he think an upgrade is needed? If the answer is yes, part 2 of that question, is Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, or somebody else a clear upgrade? If he answers that question to himself with 2 yeses, then he's going to draft a quarterback. Again, question 1, is Justin Fields good enough, or does he need to upgrade from Justin Fields? If the answer is yes. And number 2, is Drake Maye or Caleb Williams a clear upgrade, or someone else? If the answer to that is yes, he will draft a quarterback. If one of those questions is no, then you're probably right. He will probably keep building the roster and keep rolling with Justin. Wasim Khan, this staff has to go. Flutes gets a D-. What do you think of Jaden Daniels and Tez Walker? I think Tez Walker's like a middle round guy. Producer Rolly can chime in here. He's watched a lot of North Carolina football. I'll let him chime in on him in a second. Let me talk.
Speed Demon.
Speed Demon. 3rd round?
2 words. Speed Demon. I think end of 3rd. Like, he'll go into like the 90s range.
Someone will take a shot on him with
like
his speed.
the comp pick area.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Jaden Daniels. I like Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't take him over Caleb or Drake, at least not right now. See how the pre-draft process goes. I mean, someone threw the idea to me the other day. What if you go Marvin 1 or 2, depending where the Bears pick, and then go Jaden Daniels like 5 through 8, depending on where your own pick is? Interesting idea. But it's tricky, man. I don't know. I think if you're changing QBs and you have a higher grade on Williams or Maye, then I think you have to go with that guy number 1 or number 2. Okay, like I mentioned, today's show sponsored by Rex MD. Fellas, do you sometimes lack confidence in the bedroom? Do you wish your sex life could be more fulfilling? Well, you're not alone. It happens. That's why we're excited to tell you about Rex MD, the online source for men's wellness. They offer an easy and discreet way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the U.S., so you can trust the quality. Plus, their customer service team is available 24/7 to answer any questions you may have. So, if you're ready to take on your sex life, take control, and say goodbye to ED, head on over to rexmd.com/chat. Start your consultation today. Guys, they've done the best offer ever this holiday season they've ever done. 95% off plus a free gift if you take advantage during the holiday seasons. rexmd.com/chat. It's rexmd.com/chat. Almost 100% off. How about that? 95% off, free gift. Go check them out. Fix your sex life today. Okay, Mr. Tortuoso says, or Mick Tortuoso, keep Fields, save picks, build around him. Again, a lot of this could come down to just the evaluations of Williams and Maye. Obviously, Fields' evaluation plays a role, but if they think Williams or Maye is an upgrade, they're going to draft him. If they're not convinced, they probably won't. It might be that simple. Warm Shy, could you see a scenario where Harbaugh comes in but wants to keep Fields a la Colin Kaepernick? I could see that. I could see not just Harbaugh, too. I could see another offensive guy coming in here and being like, hey, I really like Justin. I think with my vision, this offense can take off and complement what's a really solid defense that's starting to build here. And I absolutely think that should be taken into account. Like, if the coach you hire wants to keep Justin, that should carry some weight. No doubt about it. Sports Guru, if you draft Caleb Williams, would you rather use the other first-round pick on a receiver or Brock Bowers? I would choose Bowers. Probably BPA. If I'm ranking the top 4 skill guys in this draft right now, I would go Marvin 1, Bowers 2, Malik Neighbors 3, Rome Odunze 4. So if Marvin's gone and the other ones are available, I'd go Bowers. If Marvin and Bowers are gone, I would go Neighbors. If the top 3 are gone, I'd go Odunze. So that's kind of how I would do it. Sports Guru. I love Brock Bowers. The kid's an absolute stud. Bearman, would it be a good idea to trade down with the Raiders for draft capital and Devontae Adams? I've talked with my with our Raiders report host guy here, Mitchell Renz, about this, and it's an interesting thought. The only thing is guys, Adams is 31 now. He's going to be 31 for all of next season. So I'm kind of just like, I like Devontae. We've seen him torment the Bears for years, obviously. Him and DJ Moore is a formidable duo, but like, what am I giving up to get him? And he keeps saying, 2 first-round picks. 31-year-old receiver? No way. Like, I would not go that route. So I like Adams. If there's some not crazy trade you have to pull off to get him, sure. But he's a little older than you would think. I mean, he's probably closer to the end of his career than he is the beginning. What will the Bears' final record be? 5-9 right now, 3 games to go, so they can be anywhere from 5-12 to 8-9. Probably guess 7-10. These final 3 games are still pretty manageable. You got the Cardinals this week, Falcons next week, who just lost to Carolina, Packers the week after. I mean, surely you win at least 2 of those. Now, if you don't win all 3 to have a tiny chance at the playoffs, you're better off losing all 3, but I don't think that's going to happen. This team plays hard every week. Their opponents coming up aren't that good. So I'll say 7-10. Predict what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. We got Bears coverage 365 days out of the year. Yes, that is every single day. Most of those days, multiple videos per day. And let's see, if we go live 3 days per week now, we're live almost like 100 times a year now, 125 times. So join us for all of that. YouTube.com/BearsNow. Share the link with a friend. We want to keep growing. We're coming for 100,000 subs, baby. Nate Gaming, I say we keep Fields, trade with New England, draft Marvin at 2. So Patriots trade up a spot. They pick whichever QB they want, take Marv at 2. Interesting idea. I mean, if you're not drafting a quarterback, then I'm absolutely open to trading. So definitely open to it. Chris N, #Bears. 2 wide receivers needed out of this draft. Which second-round receivers do you like? Well, if you're watching live, stay tuned. I take a receiver in the second round, so buckle up for that. But there's a lot of guys, on day 2 of the draft that are enticing. Xavier Legette, if he doesn't go first round. Xavier Worthy out of Texas as well. A couple of Xaviers that I think could go on day 2. Does Adonai Mitchell out of Texas fall out of the first round? You've got Jalen Polk out of Washington, who I don't think will go round 1. He's kind of the Robin to Odunze's Batman for that Washington Huskies team. So there's a lot of dudes, man. It's a really good receiver class. Geezer Kieran, how about Todd Monken as OC? Well, he's already the OC in Baltimore, and he calls plays. So if you hired him, you'd have to make him your head coach. Now, could Todd Monken get some head coaching looks? He has before. I think he's got the chops to be considered. He's a little bit older, so we'll see. But he's done a really nice job with Lamar this year. DC Viper, could the Bears trade Herbert this offseason? He has been very disappointing this year since we let Monty walk. He has not been the same since the injury. I thought earlier in the year he was still running well, but still isn't very good in blitz pickup. He was bad yesterday if you're watching live, against the Browns. That was a problem again. And he has not had great bursts since coming back from that high ankle sprain. So that has been a disappointment. And I definitely think trading him could be a possibility. And all of a sudden you look at this, you might need a running back, man. I like Roschon, but is he like a lead dog? You may have to at least get someone to pair with him. You could bring back Deontay Foreman, which I'm open to, but I definitely think running back could be a sneaky position you're going to have to invest at least something into. Jacob, if the Bears are going to fire Matt Eberflus, how long after Week 18 do you think it would happen? Usually it's the day after. Now, he might be one where they evaluate for a little bit, and I do think Black Monday could be a little slower this year because, remember, with the new coaching search rules, you cannot interview assistants of playoff team coaching staffs until after the divisional round. So that's 2 weeks after the regular season. They added that into the equation this year. So teams could take a little longer if they're on the fence of whether or not to keep or fire a coach. Still think there will be some firings on that Monday. We'll see if Flus is one of them. But it would happen between the final Sunday of the season and, I don't know, maybe a week later. It would happen within a week, I would guess. All right, we will continue the conversation on social media. If we didn't get to your question, I apologize. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at HGrambitFL. More questions to discuss over there. Zanakin Skywalker with the first-time super chat. Shout out to Skywalker. He says, thoughts on two-thirds of Cunningham gets the GM job. So, yeah, the minority hiring thing. That'd be nice if he does get hired. You get that extra draft compensation. So that would definitely be helpful if he does get poached. I do think there's a real scenario where Ian Cunningham gets a GM job. So yeah, I think that would be beneficial. It's kind of a win-win. I think he's been a really awesome sidekick to Poles. So if he's still here, that would be great. But if not, you get some draft capital. That'd be awesome as well. Certainly be a win-win, if you ask me. Rolly had to step out for a second, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, it's official. The number one QB recruit, Dylan Raiola, is flipping from Georgia to Nebraska. That was kind of being rumored, so there you go. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. Not sure where Rolly ran off to. He said, draft J.J. McCarthy to entice Jim Harbaugh. Well, the draft isn't until April, so it's not like if you draft him, you're going to then change coaches in May. If you mean for the future, maybe, but yes, Don Burr is back. Don, you're lucky the Bears didn't sweep you this year. What else? Detroit is the worst 9-win team I've seen. Well, they do have 10 wins. Although, I don't know if you guys have been paying super close attention to the playoff picture since the Bears lost yesterday. There is a real scenario where we get Rams-Lions in Detroit, Matthew Stafford revenge game. Matthew Stafford and the Rams will 100% beat the Lions in the playoffs if they play each other. You can take that to the bank. You heard me, Don Burr. And by the way, if the Bears don't make the playoffs, do you guys want us to go live for some playoff games? Do some playoff watch parties? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Would you guys want us to go live? We could cheer against whatever NFC North teams. We could go live for the Lions game. A lot of yeses coming in. So if you guys are into that, we could do it. I just threw out the idea of going live for a playoff game and cheering against the Lions. And I also just said this, Rolly. If the Rams play the Lions in the first round, which is looking pretty possible, Stafford is absolutely winning that game. Revenge game in Detroit, you can take that to the bank. A lot of yeses coming in. So, yeah, we might do some playoff watch parties. It'd be fun. All right. We'll give that some consideration. NRG, bro, are you snagging a 3-tech or defensive end from free agency? Depends on who's available. I know there's a lot of edges slated to be free agents, but I do think a lot of them will end up getting extended or franchise tagged. One guy I'm keeping a close eye on is Josh Allen in Jacksonville. Do they tag him? Because they've got a lot of big contracts on the books. I wonder if he becomes available. That's one I'm keeping an eye on. You pair him with Montez Sweat, keep growing, have Javon Dexter keep growing on the interior. He's played better and better each week. Hell, maybe you bring back Justin Jones as a cheap veteran option. Just don't ask him to drop in coverage on 3rd and 15. Great call, Flus. Oh, man. All right. One more segment to go here. You good, by the way? It is. Oh, okay. All right. Bears mock draft 8.0. Didn't think I'd have 8 mocks through week 15, but here we are. Let's dive into it. We'll see what I do on today's mock draft. 8, count 'em, 8. It's our 8th Bears mock draft here on Chicago Bears Now. Welcome into the show. And this one comes after the Bears' latest collapse, this time in Cleveland. Obviously, draft rumors are going to continue to circulate around this team. And with Carolina winning on Sunday, the number 1 pick is not exactly a guarantee. It's still firmly in the Bears' control for now, but it is certainly a possibility if the Panthers do win again that number 1 pick could fall to New England. Here's the current NFL draft pick order right now. Bears still holding firm there with that number 1 selection. Got the Panthers and Cardinals lurking. Not really worried about Arizona because their strength of schedule is so strong that the Panthers would have to win twice for Arizona to potentially overtake them. Commanders at 4 and 10, and then the Bears' own pick. I mean, that's the one good news about losing. They've got the tiebreaker among the 5-win teams, so they're still picking at number 5 overall at this point in time. So what am I going to do with the number 1 overall pick? Drum roll, please. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, number 1 overall. I kind of hinted at this on our Monday video that I just think that with everything going on right now, if I had to guess with 3 weeks to go, the Bears are probably leaning toward drafting a quarterback. That's just kind of what it feels like. And Caleb Williams has his flaws. There's no doubt about it. You definitely have to look into him and see if he's got the, mental makeup of being the quarterback in Chicago. Because that's one thing there's no doubt Justin Fields has. He can handle all the criticism, all the media stuff in Chicago. He's proven that. But Ryan Poles, I just get the feeling, is going to look at this as an opportunity to take his own quarterback, reset the QB clock, and I currently have Caleb Williams just a notch above Drake Maye right now, so I think that's the direction they would go in. But again, all just projection, guessing what I think the Bears would do here. So, pick a QB. What would you do? Would you draft Caleb Williams? Would you keep Justin Fields? Type CW for Caleb Williams. Type JF for Justin Fields. That is the question today. All right. Number 5 overall pick. How about this? How about Brock Bowers? Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake Maye, and Olu were the next 3 picks. Can't remember the order, but they were all gone. So I basically debated Brock Bowers, Joe Alt, or Malik Neighbors. And even though Braxton Jones didn't play great against Cleveland, I still think he's an above-average left tackle. Something became clear to me, and it's, I think it's been staring us in the face all season, but DJ Moore's been healthy all year, so we haven't really noticed it. Outside of DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, the Bears' weapons on offense are kind of bad. They really are. It's been a bad year for Darnell Mooney. We saw the Robert Tonyan experience. I kind of thought he'd be more of an impactful guy. He's done nothing. Finally gets a chance and just blows that by dropping that long touchdown. You got to add some high-end weaponry, whether it's at receiver or tight end. Honestly, maybe even running back too, but you're not going to do that high in the draft. Brock Bowers is just a superstar. He just is. I mean, he's the best tight end coming out of the draft I can remember. And yes, that includes Kyle Pitts, who hasn't been awesome in Atlanta, but I think that's more of an Arthur Smith problem. He's a better prospect than Kyle Pitts. He's just as good of a weapon in the receiving game, and he's a better blocker. You just need more pieces on offense, regardless of what you do at quarterback. Whether you keep Justin, whether you draft Caleb or Drake, you need more pieces offensively. It can't just be the DJ Moore big play show and Cole Kmet is reliable. You need other dudes. And Brock Bowers is a dude. And as much as I love Cole Kmet, maybe it wouldn't be in his rookie year, but Brock Bowers has more upside than Kmet. You bring him in there, and that tight end duo could be unbelievable. Subscribe to the channel. Don't miss out on our Bears NFL Draft content. Be sure to subscribe today. It's free. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We may not always agree on everything when it comes to the Bears, but it's an open dialogue here. We appreciate all your love and support. 100% free. Subscribe for daily videos. All right, I'm trading here in the second round, and look, don't freak out, but obviously if you draft a quarterback, you're going to trade Justin Fields. So here's my trade alert. I'm trading with Atlanta for their second-round pick, their fourth, and a fifth-round pick. Sam Darnold went for a 2, 4, and a 6. Now, I think Carolina overpaid for that, but obviously Justin Fields is clearly better than Sam Darnold at this point in his career, where Sam Darnold was at that point in his career. So a 2, 4, and a 5, you get a little bit more. Maybe a team would throw you a first if they're picking late in the first round. Pittsburgh maybe is a team like that. But this is the trade I put together. And look, this could very well happen. If Ryan Poles drafts a quarterback, he's going to trade Justin Fields. You're not taking a QB number 1 overall and keeping Fields. Like, I don't think Fields would allow that. I think he would demand a trade if the Bears threw the idea of still keeping him along with drafting a QB number 1. So I think that's very much a possibility. And obviously things can change, but that's where I'm projecting things right now. And in the second round, some of you guys have been throwing the name at me. I've been watching this kid all year as well. Xavier Legette, the wide receiver out of South Carolina. He's got good size. He's pretty explosive. I'm excited to see how he tests at the NFL Combine, but the number I really like here is the yards per catch, almost 18 yards per catch. That is a very high number for someone who had 71 catches this year. And the thing I like about Legette, too, is he played in an offense where opposing teams knew he was the top dude by far, and he was still very, very productive. So in just the top 50 of this draft, I have created this potential Bears weaponry, and that's with drafting a quarterback. DJ Moore, Xavier Legette, there's your 1-2 punch. Now, rookie receivers, it could take some time, I get it, but I think Legette right away would be your second best receiver. Brock Bowers, Cole Kmet, again, Kmet's might be tied in 1 in the short term, but I think long term Bowers would overtake him there, but it'd be a 1A, 1B situation. They would do some different things. That's a nice core 4 there, man. Like to work with. Regardless, Lawn Mower 5.0 Ultra, it's the best ball hair trimmer that has ever existed on the market. What I appreciate about Manscaped is they don't rest on their laurels. They're always looking to upgrade here. That's why they're up to the 5.0, and this product has been tested highly. I use it on a weekly basis now, and here's the thing about the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It brings 2 next-gen blade heads, perfect for sculpting your holiday do, from taming to chestnuts to grooming the tree. And trust us, it's as gentle as a snowflake on your sensitive bits as well. Get started with Manscaped today. Promo code BEARS20 at manscaped.com. It's waterproof. You can use it in the shower. Wireless charging station. Battery life is unbelievable. Manscaped. Go check out their other products too. I love using their beard hair trimmer, which I told you I'm not going to shave all season. Holding to that, but I will be using the Beard Hair Hedger Pro Kit very, very soon once the season ends. Promo code BEARS20 gets you 20% off at manscaped.com. Let's keep this mock draft rolling. I am going to go defense finally here. Get an edge rusher out of Ohio State, Jack Sawyer, 6'4", about 260. He's got good size. The sack production hasn't always been there for him, but his pressure rate was pretty solid this year. He's good in the run game, kind of a team captain type of guy for that Ohio State defense as well, which I really like. You keep him in Big Ten country here. 17.4% pass rush win rate this year. If you're above 15%, that's above average, so I like that. I don't think he's a guy that's ever like a 10 to 12 sack guy in the NFL. I think he's probably like a 5-6 sack guy, but get him in the third round. He's a guy who could stop the run. He's physical, and he's going to give you just enough pass rushing ability as well. Let's stay in the trenches, but go back to the offensive side. Cedric Van Pran. You guys know how I feel about this kid. For some reason, he's starting to drift in these mock drafts a little bit. I don't really get it. I'd be fine with him on day 2, but he's sitting there in the 4th round here. The guy's given up 1 sack in 3 years at Georgia. Nothing he does is overwhelming. Like, he's not an incredible athlete. He's not the biggest guy, but he fits the mold of what this Bears offense likes to do. Now, sure, you could have a completely new system in place, so that certainly could play a factor on what you do at center, but the bottom line is you got to upgrade center, whether it's in free agency, whether it's in the draft. Another just brutal performance from Lucas Patrick against Cleveland. The guy tries hard. He just can't play. I mean, that's the bottom line. Cedric Van Pran, I think, can at least come in and be an average center as a rookie and improve over time. So, like getting him in the middle rounds here. And, if you want to bring back Patrick or Dan Feeney as a backup mentor type, that's perfectly fine. But the starter has got to be a better player than what you currently have. Speaking of which, what is the Bears' biggest need for 2024? It's hard to say center because that's not near the top of most important position, but you could definitely put it in the conversation. Is it center? Is it quarterback if you want to move on from field? Receiver, because you got to get something beyond DJ Moore. Let us know what you think the biggest need is for 2024. Hell, you could say head coach. We'll go a little quicker here on the day 3 picks. Jaden Hicks, safety out of Washington State. Big guy here, 6'3", like 215, but he's actually a better coverage guy than kind of box safety. And again, Eddie Jackson could be a cut candidate. Had a nice pick this week, but at his price tag, he may either be asked to take a pay cut or get cut. So if they do cut him, they're going to have to add some safety help. And even if they don't cut him, Elijah Hicks has not been a great number 3 safety. Jaden Hicks, I think, would be a clear upgrade here. Ray Davis, the running back out of Kentucky. Get him in the 4th round as well. Remember, a couple extra picks here with that Atlanta trade. Ray Davis had a really good year. He's played at 3 different colleges. He was productive at Vanderbilt last year. Transfers to Kentucky. Was good this year for the Wildcats. Over 1,000 yards. 20 total touchdowns. He can catch the football. Had like 350 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns, in addition to 13 rushing touchdowns. Like his game. Again, I think running back could be a position you may have to add another piece here. Not sure what the future looks like for Khalil Herbert. Cooper Beebe, the offensive guard of Kansas State. When we were doing mocks before the college football season, earlier in the college football season, he was going on day 2, and not really sure why he has slipped a little bit. I still like him as a prospect. Now, maybe he's more 3rd, 4th round than 2nd round, which is where some thought he was at one point, but I think he's got starting potential. And a topic that we aren't talking about enough is for about 2 or 3 weeks now, Nate Davis has not been that good. It's been a roller coaster season for him. He obviously had the family situation play out. He played really well when he came back for a while, but the last few weeks hasn't played as great. I expect him to start next year, but you could bring Beebe in, have him develop as a backup, and then maybe he has a chance to be a starter in 2025. So I definitely think adding some more depth to this offensive line could make some sense. Mike Sanderstill, the cornerback out of Michigan, he can kind of play different spots. He can play nickel. He can play outside. I think he can play a little free safety as well. 5 picks this year, a leader for the Wolverines defense. Keep an eye on him during the college football playoff. He's been a really good player for them, and I think he can be kind of a jack of all trades for a secondary in the NFL. And then Isaiah Williams, some of you guys may be familiar with him as well. 6th round pick here in this mock out of Illinois. Has some good speed, over 1,000 yards this year for the Fighting Illini. I think doubling up in this draft at receiver, even if the second one's late like this, just taking a chance on somebody, you got to add some depth here. Like Tyler Scott, when he catches the ball, shows some good things, but he's had some drop issues. I don't know if Eberflus Jones is going to be here next year. I don't have great confidence that Darnell Mooney is. So it's kind of DJ Moore than after that. So certainly a position that you're going to have to add some pieces this offseason. So grade our Bears mock draft 8.0, A, B, C, D, or F. I know there's going to be controversy at quarterback. Again, I just think that's probably where they're at right now if the season ended today. That could change. I don't know what Ryan Poles' evaluations of Caleb Williams and Drake Maye are. This is just me projecting. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your grades in on the show. All right, there's mock draft 8.0. We'll certainly be back for another one. And then once the season ends, we might be doing these weekly. We're almost already doing them weekly. So if you want more Bears draft content, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate the support here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, Clutch Rue, call me crazy, but I'd keep Flus, change the OC. 2024 Flus calls the defense, better OC with Fields, DJ, MHJ, and Bowers is a real scenario. Thoughts? I mean, yeah, it's definitely a scenario that could play out. I would like to upgrade head coaches, but I'm not convinced Ryan Poles will do that. I think he would prefer to keep Flus. Now, he may not have a choice. He may realize, okay, I like Flus. I think he's done some good things, but we got to upgrade here. But he's spoken glowingly of him. He likes Flus. Like, there's no doubt about it. So that scenario is still in play, Clutch. So a lot of things can still happen. All right. Yeah, we mentioned that while you stepped out. Yeah. Dylan Raiola, 5-star quarterback, flipped to Nebraska. So that guy's had a crazy recruitment. 4 high schools and now 3 colleges. Is he going to start as a true freshman? He probably will, right? McCord didn't go there. They don't have good options. I mean, Jeff Sims is back in the portal. Purdy's brother is horrible. Does he have another year? That guy stinks. He was with the Lions in the preseason, I think. Yeah, he might be on their practice squad. Jeff Sims. He sucks, dude. He's a good runner. He was awful at Georgia Tech. He was awful at Nebraska. Why? When has he ever shown he's a dog? He was a high recruit.
He beat North Carolina.
A lot of people
Him and
beat
Jahmyr
North
Gibbs
Carolina.
did before Gibbs left them. Poor Sims.
Poor Sims, man. He was I remember
that rushing
it was a
attack
shocker
deadly.
when he committed to Georgia Tech. He was either a high 4-star or he might have even been a 5-star. He has not been good.
That
in
rushing
college,
attack, dude. The Yellow Jackets were deadly.
Yeah. They can run the football, man. All right. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Lenny says, no matter what, keep Poles. I don't think Poles is going anywhere. You can see, like, the roster upgrades. Like, even though they're blowing a lot of these games, like, the roster is so much better than it was last year. Like, there's just no doubt about that. So, all right. Appreciate Rolly for producing. Thanks to you guys for tuning in. Super chatters, people who like the video, comments, keep the chat going. You guys are the best. We will be back with more videos tomorrow. We'll also be back live on Thursday, but plenty of content to come between now and then. Until then, bear down.